Welcome to The Catch Up, a podcast from the Daily Catch where we take you inside the news. My name is Walter Mullin, and I'm the publisher of the Daily Catch.
And I'm Emily Sachar, the editor of the Daily Catch.
In this show, we discuss stories that have appeared in the Daily Catch. We give you insights into how we put the stories together, offer additional observations, and discuss where we may be heading as the stories move forward. Emily, are you ready to catch up?
Let's do it, Walter.
So it's the holidays, and that means one thing for those of us in Rhinebeck and Red Hook. The Wonderland of Lights show is up and running at the Dutchess County Fairgrounds, which makes me very excited. And we have a special guest with us today.
That's right. We get to welcome Tammy Peters, who is the founder of North Pole Productions and who helped stage the Wonderland of Lights. So, Tammy Peters, welcome to The Catch Up, the podcast of the Daily Catch.
Well, thank you for having me. Glad to be with you.
Yeah. So I've actually had the great joy of going through the Wonderland of Lights after, I guess it's been, 5 years. I always watched it from Route 9 and I thought, how much more can there be in there? There's the beautiful lights that you can see from the roadway. Well, it turns out there's a lot you can see, right? As you drive through in the back. So
Absolutely. There's over a mile of Christmas displays back in there. And this year we actually put a lot more light out towards Route 9 as well.
oh well, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Let's start, Tammy, by telling us what is the history of the Wonderland of Lights? How many years? How did it come into being?
Well, I actually started the Wonderland of Lights in Florida in 2016. And so we're actually celebrating the 10th year of the Wonderland of Lights down here in Florida. And in 2021, right after the pandemic, we started the Wonderland of Lights in Rhinebeck. I think COVID had a little bit to do with it, and we felt it was a good time to do a family-friendly, stay in your car piece of entertainment, because COVID was still going on at that time, and people were very concerned about, being safe and staying together.
Yeah, interesting. So when you started it in 2016, what was it? What was the idea behind it, and how did you put it together?
Well, we have North Pole Productions is celebrating its 25th year in business. And so we got a lot of anniversaries this year, and we have been producing light shows all over the country for the past 25 years. We put up about 10 shows a year. We have from Alaska to Florida, from the Midwest to the East Coast. We have shows.
Okay.
So, in 2016, I ventured out and started to produce our own show for North Pole Productions. The other shows are what we call leased shows by promoters or nonprofits as fundraisers for their organizations.
So
These
they
two,
rent from you, they rent the items from you and stage it
yes,
themselves.
yes,
Got it.
yes.
And are those
And
big productions with 1 mile drive-through of lights, or are those much smaller scale kinds of operations?
oh no, most of them average between a mile and 2 miles. We have almost 2 miles in Franklin, Tennessee. The Erie County Fairgrounds over in Hamburg, New York is our longest running client at 21 years. And that show is about a mile and a half. So they all average about a mile to 2 miles.
Okay. And you're saying organizations would rent the displays from you, pay a fee, and so forth. But this one in Rhinebeck and some of your other ones are different in that you set them up yourselves.
Yes, these are company-owned shows. Rhinebeck and Auburndale, Florida are company-owned shows. And then we make charitable contributions to, in Rhinebeck, our main charity is the Make-A-Wish organization of the Hudson Valley. And in Auburndale, Florida, we work very closely with the Polk County Toys for Tots organization.
Got it. So I've got to ask you the question that's been burning for me to understand. Who is actually making these displays, like the little two turtle doves up in the tree against, it looks like it's lights on a metal frame of some sort. Who comes up with these ideas? Who actually makes these displays?
Well, we have a warehouse, and we have built many of the displays that are in the show. The 12 Days of Christmas that's in Rhinebeck, we built exclusively for the Rhinebeck show. So some displays we have purchased. There's been shows around the country that have gone out of business, and we've picked up that equipment. And in most instances, we have built the displays, and we use our imagination, and we use coloring books, and what's hot in the market at the time. We try to, you can't plagiarize somebody's artwork, so we kind of make changes to the artwork, but you still kind of get the idea of what it is.
Okay. Do you add new things each year?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So, as we have so many shows, we move equipment all around. So show A is in Rhinebeck this year, and show B is in Erie County Fair this year. Next year, show B comes to show A goes to show B, and that's how we keep all the shows fresh.
That's so interesting. So tell us in detail how Rhinebeck got in on this. I mean, I get it, you're all over the country, but you're not like in every state, in every city. Why Rhinebeck? Did you initiate it or did somebody else?
Well, yes, I talked with Andy and Peretti, the general manager of the Dutchess County Fairgrounds. Andy and I have been friends for many, many years. I do a lot of work with the fair industry. So, my paths crossed with Andy for many, many years. And I'm just enchanted with the Dutchess County Fairgrounds. It's so beautiful. And Andy and I were talking one day. I said, sometime we really should put a light show at your fairgrounds. He said, well, why don't we do it? And I said, well, why don't we? And that's kind of how it got started.
Okay. And that was, you said 5 years ago. So during COVID?
Yes.
During
Yes.
the pandemic. Okay.
Yeah.
And I also have to say, I was very fortunate to see the show being laid out this year, see the actual displays going down. I've never seen so much wire in my life. I shouldn't say wire, cable. What do you call it? The lines.
Yes, wires, cables. We've got it all. We've got it all. There's probably 5 to 7 miles worth of wire, and probably another 2-3 miles worth of airplane cable. And there's 2 miles of road lighting. The countless bulbs. I don't like to get into numbers because it's just countless. You can't really imagine how much how many like bulbs are floating around that fairgrounds at any one time. But
and where are you plugging in all this stuff? Where is it all being? Because it's a mile. There's plugs all over the place.
Yeah, there's power all over that fairgrounds. And that's what makes fairgrounds a beautiful place to put these shows up, is because there's lots of power on the fairgrounds. When I first started this business 25 years ago, we still had the glass incandescent bulbs. So we had displays that would draw, we would need 200 amp panels for some of our large displays. And it was nothing to need 1,600 to 2,000 amps of power to power one of these shows up, with an electric bill of $6,000 to $8,000 at the end of 5 weeks. Fast forward 2 decades, now everything is LED, and those 200 amp displays now draw maybe 40 to 50 amps. And so in the course of a season, those, $8,000 light bills are now down to 1,500 to 2,000.
At the same time that you've added more bells and whistles or lights to set.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
Yes.
what are some of the more high-tech additions that have come into play in this business, and specifically that people will see in Rhinebeck?
Well, as I say, about 10, 12 years ago, we started changing out the equipment from the incandescent to the LED bulbs. Now the LEDs are giving way to the RGB lights, and the RGB are color changing light bulbs, and very, very high tech, very costly, but they're changing, all the time. This year, we have an RGB tunnel of lights towards the end of the show. And then we have, at the beginning of the show, we have what I call our field of lights. And what we've taken are clear, well, they're kind of milky, white barrels, and we've put RGB lights underneath these barrels, and they all dance to the music. So they're color changing and they're fast going, and everything's set to music now. That's another add-on that came into fruition 5 to 10 years ago. So it's out there.
Out there, yeah. I can vouch for that tunnel of lights. It is really something. And I wanted to just
Yeah.
sit there. I had people behind me, but I wanted to just sit under that tunnel and just watch the lights go by because they kept changing. The design
Yes.
changing and the colors kept
Yes.
changing. It's a lot of fun. So, Tammy, what are
Yes.
some of the challenges with setting up in Rhinebeck? You've talked about how beautiful it is, but what are some of the challenges?
Getting help.
Yeah.
Getting help to put the show up, take the show down, run the show. That's been my biggest challenge for the past 5 years. It's a major obstacle to keeping this show going, to tell you the truth.
Are you hiring local labor or are you hiring? Because I know I met one gentleman who was coming in from Florida.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture
Rusty
of,
McRae is our operations manager, and he comes to mostly all of the setups, all the shows. And then we try to hire locals, but I've brought crews in from Syracuse, New York. I've from outside of the state of New York. This year we tried to get locals. We hired one crew of 4 guys. They worked a week and didn't come back because it was cold and it was rainy, and it's outdoor work. And we hired people over the phone, kind of interviewed them because it's a quick turnaround. We need help for a couple of weeks. So what you're getting is, people who are unemployed or people who are between jobs, and then, they say they're coming, they don't show up. And that's very difficult to get a job done.
wow. So that's the biggest aspect of the challenge.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the joys of this work? I mean, it's serious. The Christmas business is fun for the viewer, but it's serious business for the operator like yourself, right?
Well, it's serious. Yes, it's serious because we really need to make sure, we cover our expenses and such. But, it's a labor of love really for me. A lot of people, Christmas is about the children and everything. And you're going to make me tear up. But for me, it's for the older people who want to remember kinder, gentler times in their childhood.
Yeah. I think it's touching that it's a very affecting moment for you. Does it bring up something from your own childhood to be involved in this?
My sisters and I took care of aging parents. So for me, it's about, the grandparents that would be their last Christmas. And I want to make sure that last Christmas is memorable for them.
Oh, that's really sweet. I took my grandchildren to see it, and it was so delightful to just have them pointing, there's Santa, there's the reindeer are moving.
Isn't that
I like
fun?
also how in a world where young children today have iPads and this and that. I thought,
Yes.
are they even going to be animated by this thing? And they were, because I think it's the
Good.
combination of the scale is so different, and
Yes.
things are out there moving, and it's beautiful, and you're with your family and everybody's paying attention to each other. So it's really nice.
But
Okay.
I'd like people to realize the work and the dedication and the commitment of my team. And some people say, oh, we saw better lights at the neighborhood park. Well, I'm happy for you, but you're looking at, when you drive through this show, you're looking at an investment of well over $500,000 in
Wow.
displays and equipment. You can't compare a homeowner's activity with a show that's got over 100 displays that are commercially built and worth, a half to three-quarters of $1 million.
Yeah.
There's just no comparison.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, how long before we wrap up here? How long does it take to actually drive through the Wonderland of Lights in Rhinebeck?
Well, depending on the traffic, we encourage people not to go over 2 to 3 miles an hour so they can actually enjoy looking at the displays and taking it in. And, I mean, if you want to zip through there, you can be done in 2 minutes.
Right.
But if you take your time and really absorb what you're seeing, it's a 15 to 20 minute ride.
Okay, perfect. And how do people get tickets?
They can buy tickets right at the ticket booth.
Okay.
We accept cash and credit cards, or they can go online. Rhinebeck seems to like to shop online. We sell a lot of tickets online, and our website is the wonderlandoflights.com. And they will see both the New York show and the Florida show on our homepage. They just click on Rhinebeck and do their shopping, and they're in and out in no time.
All right. Well, thank you again so much for joining the catch up today, and
Thank you
hope
for
everybody
having me.
catches up and gets over there because it's adorable. It's really heartwarming and touching.
Thank you so much. And I hope to see everybody at the Wonderland of Lights at the Dutchess County Fairgrounds. Wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season.
That was great to hear from Tammy directly. And I want to just echo one thing she said. The show really does appeal to people of all ages. I go every year and it's just really fun to drive around and see it.
Yeah, that's right. And I neglected to ask Tammy, but we can fill in here. The show is open generally on weekends from now until a little bit after Christmas, but I suggest everybody checks the website before going over. Before you drive over there and spend that time, double check that it's open for the times that you want to go. It's generally 5 to 9, but there's some wrinkles. And it's $30 to start for a car of up to 8 people. And then pricing goes up depending on whether you're driving a bus or a minivan or a larger bus, etc. And you also have the opportunity, Walter, to make a donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation if you buy your tickets in advance. As Tammy explained, you can also pay for your ticket right when you get to the ticket window at the gate.
And the show is running now through December 28th. But again, only on certain days of the week. So do check.
Yeah.
So speaking of the holidays, Emily, we just got through Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving?
Well, it was crazy. First of all, I lost heat in my house, and we still had to keep the newspaper going. So we had that going. And I had my husband doing all the cooking. So I did do the turkey, though, Walter. I make a really good turkey, but we had, I think, 17 pies. So there were enough pies for like 3 for every person, or no, not quite, 2 for every person. It was a lot, but it was a really lovely time. And I have 5 grandchildren now, and everyone was gathered round, and it was really special. How about you, Walter? How was yours?
Mine was lovely as well. I was out on the West Coast visiting family. The trip out was sort of grueling and tiring, but the trip back was much easier. And it was just nice to be together with family.
And now we're sitting here and we've got our first snowfall of the season. And it is sticking. It is coming down and it is sticking. So Yeah.
Great. This concludes our show. If you like our broadcasts, please be sure to subscribe or follow on your favorite platform, and you'll be notified every time we drop a new episode. Thank you to Matty Rosenberg and Jen Hammoud at Radio Free Rhinecliffe for their help producing today's episode. And thank you to Esther Martell for her help with editing. Emily, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you.
So same with you, Walter. Thanks for being here.